Hello again, I'm Cal Christo, and let's take a look at map modes. Map modes are something that could be done significantly better in CK3, and there's lots of new interesting map modes one could potentially add, but today we're going to get a little more primitive. We're going to zoom in on how you actually select your map mode. I present to you arguably the best piece of UI design that I have ever seen. The EU4 minimap and map mode selections are sublime. You can very, very easily and quickly select both the keyboard shortcuts you want for maps and which maps you care about enough to have on keys, as well as having a selection of all the different maps shown so that you can see them really easily. You can also move around the world on the minimap. Where's my minimap? CK3, come on. Put a minimap in the game. Anyway, you can select what goes in here, not only for each shortcut, but you can have nested minimaps. So for example, I like having the diplomatic and political map modes on W, because it means I can easily cycle between them, and I can see that, in this case, I have no relationship with Liège, for example. This is absolutely superb. It's incredibly helpful. It means that you can really easily shift things up to how you like it. It is incredibly noticeable when you start playing on someone else's version of EU4, or if I've done, some of the streaming events I do with Paradox occasionally, and you load it up and the keyboard shortcuts are different and the maps are in different places and it just feels wrong. And the reason it feels wrong is because it feels so good when the map modes are correct. You can choose which map modes you have here, and crucially, any map mode can be accessible at the easy press of a button. Now, let's take a look at CK3. Oh dear, not quite as good. So, first off, these map modes are static. I can't change which goes under which shortcut. Secondly, the shortcuts are all over the place. E, okay, kind of makes sense. Shift Q, okay, we've moved right on the keys but left on the shortcuts, and we've added a shift for some freaking reason. Shift W, okay, now we're moving right again. That makes sense. Shift E, okay, so we started with E and we've gone all the way back around to Shift E. Next, oh R, of course, not the next shift thing. We've switched back off shift. It's not great in terms of keyboard shortcut assignment, and we can't choose which we go in here. Now, as you can see, space is very limited, so we've put a bunch of the shortcuts into additional map modes, which you have to pop out. And if you then start, clicking around, we're gonna just have to leave a menu here if I want these available. Why? Why would you do that? Just put all the maps here. Space is not limited. There's a vast open space. I mean, you're zoomed in, so you can't really see it, but there's a vast open space available here, and it's just a strict downgrade from something like EU4. Make it so that you can select which map modes you want to put here, and don't use expanding menus to show more things. There isn't a strictly limited amount of space down here. There's tons. You can make it as long as the date. Just put it in one long row. Simple as. It's not superb. So please change the map modes so that it's more accessible, so that you can have more of them easily seen, and so that you can use shortcuts to quickly switch to all of the map modes. Also, in the process of making this video, because I'm doing it in debug mode, I've noticed a few things. For example, do you know this map mode? I imagine you don't. This is accessible only in debug mode, and it is the diplomatic range map mode. Here's a little bit of a better view of it. Why? Why in God's name would you restrict some map modes to debug? This is useful information that the player should have. Another good example is geographical regions. Why would you limit the information of what the geographical regions are in the game from the player? It's needless. So it's actually two requests. Firstly, let me customize the map modes. Let me have keyboard shortcuts for all of my map modes. Don't use expanding menus. Expanding menus are bad UI design unless you have a strict shortage of space. And secondly, don't bury useful map modes in the debug. Come on, these are helpful. Let me have them in the normal game. And that is, in my humble opinion, one other way in which you can make CK3 even better. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.